Listen, you got a good product, right? You're running some ads, maybe even got 5 or 6 figures a month right now. Every time you have a good month, the next month rolls around the corner, the pressure's back on. You gotta perform again, your ads gotta work, otherwise this is gonna happen. And the reason why, you don't have a business, right? You're stuck in the ecom hamster wheel. That's what we're calling it, okay? Now, look at this guy. This is our little hamster here. Do you think he's happy to be in the hamster wheel? Sometimes they are, but this one, I don't know if he likes this wheel very much. You see what he's holding? Yeah, no, but seriously, this isn't a scaling problem at all. It's a structural one. And so if you keep trying to scale with the current systems that you're doing, and you still feel like you're in this wheel, this constant month over month, you're trying to perform these magic tricks to get revenue, you're never going to make it out of the wheel, right? And so today, I'm going to tell you guys exactly what it is, how to get out of it. But before I do that, I don't like doing this, but I got to tell you guys why you should trust me, why you should trust what I'm saying. Because a lot of times people get on YouTube and they say all these things and they give you these run ads, ROAS, all this stuff. But the problem is they've never actually experienced it themselves, right? And so just as a little bit of a quick disclosure, over the past 2 years, I've worked with Down Global Solutions, and we've taken businesses from $0 to 100K months and beyond. So I'll throw up a couple of case studies for you guys, just so you guys have some peace of mind as you watch this video. I'm not just giving you guys some crap to listen to. So now that that boring stuff is out of the way, we can go ahead and get straight into the Miro, right? Obviously, it's going to keep going down, but first off, the Ecom Hamster Wheel. Little short explanation on what it is here, right? This is where 90% of your brands are at, right? They probably do have a good product. They're probably running good ads, honestly. And it shows, right? People come, they buy the product, they click on the ads, and then, they're buying your product, right? Perfect. The problem is 90% of the revenue, just like it says down here, is going to come from your new customers. Now, this is fine. No, it's not fine, actually. Totally not fine. The problem with this is if you're not getting your customers to come back and buy, your LTV is gonna just take a crapper, right? And you don't want that, okay? The idea, we'll get into it in a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is the ecom hamster wheel. People launch new product, they run the ads, they get the short spike, and boom, that's it. They just keep getting new sales, new sales. They have no system, they have no back end. It's just them hustling and getting dollars on their dashboard. If you've been doing it long enough, you'll see why that's not good. Okay. There's just a lot of complications moving forward, and you're not going to have a business. You're always going to be stuck in your business working. You can't hire it out. You can't sit on a beach in Cancun while you're making money, right? That's what everybody wants to do. They want to sit on the beach while or in the mountains, or whoever you are. They want to make money while they sleep. They want to make money while they play, right? That's what everybody wants to do. You can't do that if you have a business with no back end, no system, and no retention system. Okay. So now that that's out of the way, number two, symptoms of being stuck. Number one, chaotic fulfillment. Now, this is simple and you might laugh at it, but it happens more than you think. You're running operations from your phone, right? This is something that unfortunately happens way more than you think. I'll get on a call with somebody, and either they join on their phone or they're on their computer and they're looking at their Shopify or whatever it is from their phone. I'm like, okay, problem number one, right? Number two, burnt out founder. This is simply because you are the system. You don't have any systems, right? So I don't know if you guys watch basketball, but there's a guy named James Harden. Yeah, he's known as the system, right? How many rings do you have? Zero. Big donut. So the problem is like if you don't have a system, if you don't have a good business, then obviously when you're tired, when you don't feel like doing something, the business is going to fail. You're going to see your revenue go down, your profit go down, everything is going to go down, right? And that's kind of leading us into the next one, trapped in a content treadmill. Same thing, right? If you stop posting content, it's going to go down, right? And so you don't want to be stuck in the content treadmill as well. Obsession with ROAS, this is a big one, right? Just because your ads are profitable does not mean that your business is profitable. And so everybody, going back to what I was saying, is when you go to get on you know, and watch a YouTube video about this guy talking about ROAS, or if you're looking at your ads and like, oh, ROAS is good, that means everything's going good. No, that's not how it works, right? You can have profitable, good ads and your business still sucks, right? So you want everything to be profitable. It's not just about your ads being good because ads, they help a lot, right? But it's kind of like taking steroids to go to the gym, right? If you take a bunch of steroids, the steroids are only going to work if you maintain a healthy diet, if you lift every day, if you do all the things that you need to do with steroids, right? I'm not saying go take steroids. I'm just saying if you take steroids and you sit on the couch and eat a bunch of potato chips, you're going to get fat. The steroids aren't going to do nothing. And so it's like the same thing. If your ads are working good, that's great, but you also have to supplement it with a bunch of other things like retention systems and a good fulfillment system, good cost of goods. I mean, it's a whole nother world when you're dealing with a good business in mid ads. But suddenly, if you have really good ads with a good business, you're golden. And so, kind of going along with that same point, chasing revenue, ignoring LTV, right? Kind of going back to that first point up here where it's talking about um, 90% of your revenue comes from new customers. That's pretty much the same thing, right? LTV, lifetime value, is way more important than ROAS, right? And so you can look at how much, rather than looking at ROAS, you look at how much does it cost to acquire the customer and how much are you making off that one customer. When you start to look at it like that, your business is good, you're profitable, and you're not so stressed out about, having to make new ads and make content and do all these things. But we'll get more into that as we go down the line. So, number three, why it happens is every launch is the lifeline of your business, right? It's starting over almost, and the sad thing is most people are totally clueless as to what's going on. They think it's more ads, they think it's more influencers, they think it's more content. That's the problem. Is people don't even know they're stuck. And so a lot of times you'll have a 100K month and then you're confused like where did the profit go? Where did all the money go? And that's very common. I've seen it so many times. So if you want peace and profit, not panic and chaos, build retention. That's the overarching thing in this video. And we'll go more into that um, right now, actually. My favorite part from operator to architect, right? If you're an operator, you're in the business, you're doing good. But the problem with that, we went over it already, you're the system. That's not good. An architect makes systems to work for him, right? So instead of thinking more ads equals more sales, you think about revenue plus retention engine. Now, what in the world does that mean? I got a little explanation over here. Building a system that repeatedly generates profit by keeping your existing customers engaged and buying again instead of always relying on new customers from ads, right? So, very important. You want systems that are going to work for you, not more ads, not more sales, right? We've been over it a couple times already. So, next up, ads and drops equals your lifeline. That's the operator mindset. The new mindset is systems over spikes. So, obviously, you don't want your dashboard to look like this, right? You want it to look like this. Nice, steady incline. That's what these systems are going to do for you. So these are the levers that you can pull, but we're going to go straight into the math visual breakdown as to see why these levers even matter. Why does retention matter? Okay, now we obviously went over why you want to get out of the hamster wheel, why you want to get out of ads. But just to drive the point home, this is what retention can do for you. Okay. So we mentioned how 90% of your customers are going to be from new sales. Or 90% of your revenues from new sales. Okay. New customers. Wow, I butchered that. Instead of having 90% of your revenue coming from new sales, industry average is 25 to 35% should come from email marketing alone, right? And that's just email marketing. That's not SMS. That's not all your other forms of retention, right? This is just email. Okay. So let's say with retention, even if you have a 15 to 25% repeat purchase rate, okay, let's say you have an average AOV, which I think industry standard again is 85 to $92 for your average order value. Let's say 150, let's say you have 1,000 first-time buyers and 150 of those people come back. That's just 15%. That's $12,750 in pure profit. You're not spending any money to acquire those new customers because they're already in your pipeline. Those are already warm leads. So you're just collecting more money off those people that are already in your pipeline. You already paid to acquire them. And so that's only 15%. That's just a 15% repeat rate, which is just not it should be higher than that, right? And so this is kind of just a little bit of math to really drive the point home. So some flows that are guaranteed to create returning customers. Welcome flow. Now, obviously, when we're talking about flows, we're talking to email SMS here, right? So email, like I said, 25-35% should come from emails. So this is something that's completely overlooked. People overlook email and SMS all the time. And they always look to ads. Ads are good, but if you're only looking at ads, obviously that's where you're not building the systems. You want people to be coming back over and over and over again. I cannot stress it enough, right? So some flows to look in. Welcome flow. You want a good welcome flow. Now, this is the first thing, a lot of times, the first thing that a customer is going to see, because a lot of times what's going to trigger the welcome flow is when you're on, you know, let's say you're on an ecom website like a Shopify store, that pop-up that's like 10 to 15% off. Get your 10 to 15% off or 20%, whatever it is. That's going to be triggered, like the welcome flow is going to be triggered by somebody signing up to that, right? So a lot of times that's going to be the first thing that any customer is going to see is the welcome flow. So it's very important that this looks good, it feels good for the customer, and it just creates that experience because a good customer experience is going to create a returning customer, right? And so kind of a similar thing with the win back. If a customer has been in your pipeline at some point and they're kind of just forgot, maybe they're not as engaged, this is what this win back flow is going to do. So it's going to be sent out, obviously, probably another 30 to 60 days after the initial time that they interacted with the brand or your email. And this is going to get them, it's in the name. You're going to win them back. You're going to have them come back. Even if they don't make a purchase, it's still a success because you're getting them back and engaged in your pipeline where you can throw more crap at them, really. Okay. So very important to have a win back flow. Next up is your post-purchase flow. Now, this is very good for returning customers because obviously these customers could have came in your pipeline through the ad, right? Let's say they saw your ad, they clicked on it, bought one of your products. Perfect. Now we collected their email because they bought. Whenever people are in checkout, they put in their email, and that opts them in for email marketing. And so this post-purchase flow is going to be sent out after the thank you flow. There's going to be a thank you email that goes out. Thanks for purchasing. Here's your confirmation number, all that. This post-purchase flow is specifically to get another sale, right? So this will go out, 15, 30 days later. I would say do it based on your shipping. So if you ship within 7 days, 5 to 7 days, send it in 10 days because they're going to have their product. If your product is good, that means people are going to like your product and they'll be like, I mean, this product's good. Why wouldn't I get this one over here? Because they've seen the product, they have it in hand, they know it's good, right? And so post-purchase is very, very, it's a very strong flow to have if you do it the right way. Next up, loyalty and upsell. This is really good. And that's going to have a little arrow drawing to VIP segmentation. This is specifically for people that an upsell flow can be different from a loyalty flow, but I'm just putting them in the same one here. So you have a loyalty flow. If somebody has bought over 2 times, you can give them some big discounts because their LTV is insurmountable to the point where you have so much profit on them already. And so you can make them feel really special if you do it the right way. So loyalty flows, another amazing way to get returning customers. Okay. Upsell flow, obviously you can do this immediately after the purchase. A lot of people will put it actually on like right after the checkout page, which I strongly recommend, is you have an extra page after they complete the purchase that says, hey, you can get X amount off on this product if you buy it now, but it expires after you leave the page, something like that. Those go over very well. And if you're doing an upsell page, you can also throw in a flow, like an email SMS flow, and you're getting 2 chances at that customer. So some retention levers that you can pull. This is kind of going hand in hand with this one up here. A couple of these I'll refer back to this one. So hindsight, I probably should have went over this first, I guess, but you guys can go back up to it, so you're good. Um, First one, personalized automations. Now, this is obviously self-explanatory again. These are just automations that are sent out at the right time to the right customer, right? So, an example of this could be if a customer was, scrolling on your website and they were looking at a specific product, there's a flow that we like to call called a browse abandonment. Now, this is if they were browsing on a specific product, we hit them with a flow. Could be anywhere from 15 minutes later to 2 hours later. Doesn't matter. But just make sure that it's sent at the right time, specific to your brand. That's a very valuable lever to pull if you do it the right way. Okay. VIP segmentation, kind of going back to the loyalty flow. You want to treat your whales differently than the fish, right? So if you have good customers, make a VIP segment because not only are those VIPs, they've already spent a good amount on your brand. You want to reward them for that, but also it's they're going to keep coming back and buying. If that means that that those VIPs, those people, those customers, they like your product already. They like your brand already. So make a segmentation, send out to them, give them discounts, give them offers, give them a lot of benefits for being a VIP for your brand or business. And they're going to reward you for that as well, which is what we want. Next up, bounce back offers. Now, this is specifically your post purchases, your upsells, anything that a bounce back is considered like within the next 7 days, they go and buy again. So they make a second purchase within the next 7 days is technically what a bounce back offer is. So anything that you can get them to come back and buy again shortly after, they're already in that buying mood, make them come back and buy again. You can do it. Reminders, replenishment, replenishment reminders. There we go. This is especially good if you're doing consumables or supplements. This is really where it's going to work the best. But if you do, uh, a client we work with is a drink brand. Okay. Now, obviously, those drinks, they go somewhere. They go in your tummy, right? Okay. Now, obviously, you want to send them a reminder and say, "Hey, running low on your bulk here. Come back and buy again," or whatever, right? Point is, give them reminders because a lot of times people actually want your stuff. They're just too lazy to go and find the thing again. So just make it easy for them. Send it straight to their inbox, and you can throw an offer in if you want. You don't need to. Um, but yeah, just remind them. Tell them to come back and buy, and they will. Next up, milestone emails. Now, this is something like a lot of people don't do this for some reason, but you can send out, if you've been around for a decent amount of time, thanks for being a customer for a year, or congratulations on your third purchase, thank you, this and that. Again, just make people feel special for being a part of your brand, a part of your ecosystem because they want to feel special. If they feel special, then they'll feel like they won't regret buying from you and they won't regret coming back and buying again, right? So very powerful tools that you can use here. If you can implement these the right way, people are going to come back and buy over and over again, and you're suddenly not going to be struggling anymore when your ads are doing good. That's good, but there's going to be days when your ads aren't doing good. And you don't want your whole business to not do good when your ads aren't doing good, right? So if you can pull these levers, if you can implement them the right way, you're going to be happier, your customers are going to be happier, and your business is going to be happier too. So, kind of like in conclusion here, retention isn't just marketing, it's infrastructure. Okay. If you have good retention, you're going to have a good business, you're going to be a lot happier. Remember our hamster up here? This was when he was in the wheel. He had to get him. It wasn't looking good for him, but he escaped the hamster wheel, got out of the hamster wheel, and now look at him. He's sitting on a pyramid of cash. Okay. And the face is a little hard to see, so I went over here and drew. This is what his face looks like. Okay, he's a happy guy. Now, he's only happy because he got out. If he didn't get out, who knows what would have happened to the hamster? Okay, having a good retention system is what's going to separate you from being a burnt out founder to being one that creates a good, real, sellable business, right? And so obviously, that's where we want to get. We want a business that if you want to be in the business your whole life, you can, and you can just sit back and collect money, or you get your business right and you can eventually sell it and make money on the exit, right? And so this is the way it's going to do it. If you are the system, then it's just not going to work out, right? It's not going to work out for the hamster. So obviously this was a little bit more of a broad video. If you guys want anything specific in terms of retention, whether it be anything that you learned in this video, drop it in the comment section, um, and I'll make a specific video for that specific thing. So just let me know if there's anything specifically that you want to hear more about, and I'll make a video on it. So if you guys weren't super familiar with what retention is before this video, hopefully you guys got a little bit of value. If you were familiar with what it was and all of this wasn't very new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You won't be throwing any more Hail Mary campaigns. I'll be teaching you guys exactly how to run the right campaigns for your business, how to run the right systems, the right flows, everything that's going to create your business into a business that makes you money when you're asleep or makes you money when you're on the beach. Whatever it might be, just build systems, specifically retention systems. I cannot stress it enough. It's so important. And if you guys don't want to do it all by yourself, that's what I do. So shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'll put my tag somewhere here and reach out to me. You'll have my team and we can go in, implement the systems for you, hop on a call, talk about what it would look like. Take care.